In the 1500s, Spain went out looking for gold. They found a bunch, hauled it back, but by 1600 weren't any richer than when they started. What happened? Well, first, what's so special about gold? Today we use paper money backed by the faith in government and the might of the military. In the before times, they used gold. Now, gold is kind of worthless. It's not like oil. It doesn't have many practical applications beyond jewelry, primitive dentistry, and money. But it is really good as money. So it's not worthless. It's worth its weight in gold. Why is it so ideal as money? Well, it's durable, portable enough, and scarce but not too scarce. Imagine you took all the elements on the periodic table and made them compete in a contest for which would work best as money. The gold medal would go to gold. The silver would go to silver. The bronze to copper. See, it's less scarce than gold or silver. It oxidizes rapidly. Usually it's made more durable by combining it with tin or arsenic to make bronze. Maybe the Olympics are onto something. Anyway, basically every ancient society that knew about gold decided independently, hey, this shiny stuff, we're gonna use it as money. Now, the problem with money, be it gold or paper, is people mistake money for the cause of wealth when it's a symptom. Taylor Swift is rich because people will do anything to see her perform. Her generation-defining songwriting and singing talent is the cause of her wealth. Money is the symptom. Similarly, the surgeon's skill are the cause of his wealth, not his money. Now, yes, obviously some rich people just inherit money, but there's an ancient Chinese proverb: a fortune doesn't last 3 generations, meaning people who inherit money will usually squander it. Long-term, sustainable wealth stems at the individual level and at the country level from skills. And those skills need to be productive skills, creating value for other people. For instance, I could get really skilled at robbing banks. Give me all your money or I'll subject you to an economics lecture. But that's not going to turn out well for me in the long run. And we certainly don't want to base our entire economic system on robbing banks. But that's effectively what the Spanish did. It's as if the King of Spain watched the 2005 classic film Get Rich or Die Tryin and said, yep, that's our policy. So we can already start to see how Spanish gold is not going to be a basis for long-term Spanish economic success. But in the short term, it works. Spanish conquistadors can indeed be classified as got rich or died trying. That was a joke, but there's actually some real research that relates to it. During the colonial era, settler mortality determined whether there was a narrow European elite in a colony or whether the colony had many European settlers. The former had very extractive institutions, and the latter had more inclusive institutions that were better for long-term growth. But the extractive colonies were rich in the short run. So while it's a joke, this paper basically says a lot of people die trying. Mortality means a few got rich in the short run. And Spanish colonies, by and large, were the extractive kind, where we had that narrow elite and fortunes are transferred back to Spain. But spoiler, the fortune would not last 3 generations. After 1492, gold and silver pour into Spain. We can see it in their money supply as that gold and silver become doubloons and pieces of 8. Now, money is great, but it only makes your life better when you spend it, when you turn it into the wonderful things that make life worth living, like beer, bidets, and BTS memorabilia. So Spain starts spending. They get a bunch of cool stuff from abroad, Chinese porcelain, Italian textiles. But what happens to the stuff made in Spain? There is a fundamental relationship between the amount of money and prices. When you have more money chasing the same goods, prices have to rise. So when all that gold hits Spain, prices quadruple. Historians call this the price revolution. Spain gets a bunch of foreign luxury goods, yes, but it doesn't get better at producing the stuff that makes you actually rich. And prices of their own goods just rise. Productivity stays constant. It gets worse though. There's a thing called the resource curse. We're all familiar with the standard lottery winner cycle. Starts off broke, wins the lottery, quits job, buys jet ski, wife doesn't like jet ski, gets second wife and second jet ski, back to broke, but now without a job and with a jet ski injury. When a country finds a precious resource like oil or diamonds, it has a similar lottery winner cycle. The country reorients itself around that industry. Other industries get crowded out. The now rich rulers indulge in costly wars or unproductive spending. Citizens push back. But the government doesn't need tax revenue, which makes them unaccountable to those citizens. They do what they want. The resource runs out eventually, or its price drops, and now the country has not invested in human capital and has less industry and more debt. That great resource that they found has now stunted the country's long-run growth. The same thing happened to Spain. Spanish rulers bought luxuries and engaged in costly wars. Its nascent textile industry lost competitiveness. The New World's gold and silver fueled a century of war and semi-good times, but ultimately left Spain worse off than its neighbors. What is the lesson? At the country level, the lesson is institutions built around extraction don't lead to long-term growth. Long-term success lies in what economists call inclusive institutions, cultivating the skills of your population, making sure they are educated and empowered. It's how resource-poor countries like Japan and South Korea are rich. They make things that make people's lives better. And at the individual level, it's the same. Get skills or die trying. Can you think of any other examples of the resource curse? Let us know in the comments. As always, you can find more info about the video and all the sources on our Substack.